is a great cause for celebration after that performance.
Yeah, great effort, to be in this position, 2-0 up in the series and, just everything that we've done, the preparation coming into this game and, the different team selection, that was obviously a big talking point come day one and how everything panned out and how so many different scenarios, we won the big moments. Really excited. It's just an awesome day for the performance of the team.
They dug in. Did you sense that there was a moment coming, or you sense that you guys could be better in the big moment today?
No, I just felt like we just held control of the game. Although we weren't getting a wicket, I just didn't feel like the game was going out of hand. I mean, that first session, you guys can quote me on the amount of runs, but I think it was like 54 runs in the first 2 hours. That's a big win for us. And we came off and we're like, mate, that's well bowled. Like, great set. Like, we didn't rush it, we didn't force it, didn't try and overplay it, and then came out of the break and then, stuck to the same things, hold the top of the stumps. We had different plans for different bowlers and, we just kind of kept going, and then we got that small opportunity. Smudge got us in the game with that stunner. Ness probed around that area for so long and got that wicket, and then all of a sudden that was the moment that the game just broke open, and then, what followed.
It's going to be a tough call coming up with Nathan, Pat Cummins coming back into the team. Who goes out?
I mean, I'm not a selector, but what I will say is the same way they looked at this game, they looked at the game objectively and said, what was the best way for us to win this game with all the information we have on pink ball cricket, what plays, what favours, is it spin or is it pace or whatever that is, what type of bowler, and then they make the decision. And, I was very excited for Ness, obviously, to get 5 on those conditions where it was flat, and that's probably always the side, when it gets flatter, how they're going to have impact. And to see him take 5 with an old ball, 3 nick-offs, it was awesome.
Marnus, how do you guys stop? I mean, 2 years ago, you were in the same position, up 2-0. England got on a roll. How do you stop that happening this time?
Yeah, I think, once again, we're in a really nice spot where we're just really process-driven, focusing on, what we need to do to be ready and just, once again, being ready for those big moments in the games and just understanding what we need to do. And I think, I look back at this game and I look at that, the partnership between Starkey and Scott. I look at, those moments to get us in a situation where we had the night session on our terms and to shift the momentum from losing the toss in day-night cricket is a really impressive feat. As a team, we've played a lot of day-night cricket, other teams not so much, but when you lose the toss, you're really in a position you set up to potentially get done in the night session, then they bat in the day, and then you're batting again in the night. And for us to shift that, bat in the day, bat through the night session, and then come out and then bat for another 3 hours and then put him into the night session, it was an amazing effort from the team.
Stokes said, in terms of the big moments there that you just mentioned, that they were sort of feeling the pressure a little bit in those big moments. Did you guys sense that out there?
I mean, we were just concerned about our own games and what we were trying to do tactically and understanding what the scenario and what the game needed at that moment. And I thought we did that really well. We didn't try and force it, although we didn't get the wickets in the first 2 hours today. We didn't panic, we didn't force it, we didn't go extravagant, we still had the scouts out, we held our length, we let the scoreboard tick really slowly, and then when we got the opening, then we shifted the plans and went to some different tactics to the other batters. But Steve did an amazing job again, another win for him as captain, and it shows you the calmness and the patience from Pat, Steve and Andrew and all the coaching staff to just keep sort of reiterating that off the field.
Does it feel like it's on?
Sorry, I didn't hear the first part of your question. That was a race.
Steve, sorry, Mark. I was pretty animated when the game finished and when you guys met after that. What was he like and how pumped was he at that point?
I mean, I think it was a little bit of the little bit of chirp out there and a bit of atmosphere out there. Jofra obviously was bowling nice and fast. And, there's a little bit of words and a bit of chat. That obviously got him up and about. And then, to finish the game with a 6, I mean, you're always going to be pretty jacked after just bombing one, 90 metres into the stand to win and go 2-0 up in the Ashes.
And just, sorry, one more. You've been a big backer of the Neser campaign over the years, Marnus. You've seen a lot of him and what he's done at the Gabba. Like, for you, just what was that moment like when you got that 5 up? Because you were as excited as him.
Yeah, I mean, look, there was a moment earlier in the season where I was just like, man, I was just like, I hope he gets his chance. Like, obviously a few injuries, and I saw the writing on the wall there that there's a potential, and for him to be able to come in and deliver, I think a little bit of maybe a bit of nerves that first innings, and then to come out second innings and play that role, get Pfeiffer. I was just so happy, just the work that he's put in, the body of work in Shield cricket, the consistency that he just keeps delivering, and we didn't see the best of his batting either, and I think that's probably the exciting part as well, is he's got a lot to offer with not only the ball, but with the bat, and his fielding. I mean, he's got 5 of the best catches in Big Bash, so it's probably enough said.
Marnus, I guess the upshot of Ness getting to play that amazing test matches that Nathan did miss out. We saw him a couple of days ago. He was pretty crushed by missing out on the test. How's he been the last few days, and has he been able to celebrate with the boys and sort of move on a little bit from it all? I
mean, we're all professional athletes. It's part of the game. It's team first mentality, and it's whatever. You're not always going to agree with the selections that are made, but over time, I'm sure anyone will understand the tactics or what they were trying to do or what they were trying to achieve, and it's nice. Obviously, it paid off in this, but regardless if it pays off or not, it's team first, and how we manage each game on its own, and I think that's the important part. This game, we felt that Ness is batting at 8 and bowling in obviously probably more under lights in seaming conditions, but he took Pfeiffer in the daytime, so was perfect, and we felt like that was a better match. But the selectors and Ron and the captains will come back in Adelaide and do the same thing again, go through all the process and work out what their best 11 looks like.
Marnus, thanks. If you look at it sort of from the outside, you go into these first 2 tests, the calibre of players that you were missing for it, the shuffling that was required of the batting order as well, to be 2-0 up with all of those things that are happening, how strong a position does that put you in now when you look at, maybe having more players to select from as well, and how ominous is that for England?
I mean, I'm not really going to comment on England per se, because it's just, once again, looking at us and, obviously getting the likes of Pat back and, maybe Josh, when he's available again, that's great. But I take a lot of pride in these moments when you're able to win games and you're able to, without, potentially, 2 of your best bowlers available, and for us to be able to, lean on like guys, that have been dominating the Shield system for a while. Doggett's got 5 Pfeiffers in his last 5 or 6 games. Ness has got 1 million wickets, and he's been doing it for 10 years, and to be able to get these guys in and them to be playing key roles in us winning games is really exciting, and I enjoy that shape of the team, and I mean, what we will enjoy, obviously, getting more guys to select from, and the calibre of Pat and Josh when that unfolds will be very exciting.
Marnus, just in terms of the batting unit, obviously after that first innings in Perth, it looked like you were going to be put under consistent pressure, and that first innings was a low total. Like, how would you assess, I guess, the way that you were able to, I suppose, rebound from that first contact with the enemy and use the plans that you have since then?
I think once again, it's just, I think we've just gone out there and played what was in front of us, and each person's got a different game plan, and I think a few guys batting together at certain points really makes it tough to bowl to. You're watching Heady and Weathers this game at the top, and the margin for error is really small. They both hit really square on the offside and leg side, so tricky to bowl to. And then when you get a right-hander in with that, the lines are a bit different. So I think one thing I really enjoyed is all of our all of the batters' intent when we went out there to go out there and look to score. And I think, yeah, okay, there were some scoring opportunities because the bowling, you know, they missed a little bit, full early or short, and guys were able to get some momentum. But yeah, I think it's just, you know, that growing as a group, you know, and it's still happening now. We've got a few, you know, Weathers has come in for the first time, and just the way he's gone about it as well has just set the tone at the top, and I just feel like that momentum sort of tripping through to the rest of the order.
Was there any element of that's how it's done from Starkey after batted for as long as he did?
No, not at all, because I think, you know, as much as he would like to probably, I mean, maybe not have batted as long, but I think he would more like to bowl under lights with a pink ball. So I think it was a little two-edged sword there. The longer he batted, the darker it got, and the more he could line up that perfect time to get some wickets as well.
Marnus, thanks. Just specifically, you touched on the momentum sort of filtering through to the team with Jake and Trav, but just for you at number 3, how does it change the way you bat, sort of batting behind those guys, if at all?
I think it's just a certain, you know, obviously the last 3 innings, you know, we've got off to a bit of a flyer, and you kind of get out there and that momentum sort of just rubs off. And some days it's not going to work like that. You know, in the first game, it was a little bit more of a measured approach. The bounce was a bit more steep. They probably bowled, you know, probably the fastest, you know, they bowled 155, you know, Wood and Archer. And so it was a bit more absorbing. I think for me, you know, I pride myself on being able to read the conditions and play what's in front of me and what is necessary at certain times. And it's been nice to come off the back of momentum and be able to, you know, put the bowlers under pressure from the start of my innings. So I've really enjoyed that, but, you know, it's once again, it's each game on its own, trying to read the conditions and read what the team needs.